My name is Patrick Hagan. I'm the college's Dean of Undergraduate Studies. I'm also a history lecturer. And you're all very welcome to this presentation on choosing the right course, choosing the right degree. But I'd like to begin by just talking about choosing the right college. Because I'll be telling you about what a Trinity education is. And I suppose at the heart of that is the idea that it's a 4-year degree. It's a research-inspired curriculum. It's a place where you don't come to be taught, but where you come to learn, where you learn from each other. We create a community of students and staff, and we work together on these courses. We learn from each other. It's very much about finding your own voice. So in your final year, no matter what course you're doing, you have an opportunity to do an independent project or a dissertation, and that's where you yourself then are the scholar, whether it's in physics or whether it's in engineering or medicine or history or law or whatever. But I think choosing the right college is very important, because the kinds of education that we provide here isn't for everyone. You know, maybe Trinity is far away from where you're from and you don't want the distances involved. Maybe you feel that your friends are going somewhere else. In the last few months, we've been recruiting student ambassadors, one from every county, and in some cases a number from the counties. You'll find some of them over at the GMB, the Graduate Memorial Building, where we have the ambassadors from Leinster. They were there until 10:30. Now we have the ambassadors from Munster until 12, then the ambassadors from Connacht, and then at 1:30 the ambassadors from Ulster. But really one consistent thing came up from all of the student ambassadors. They said that when they were applying in the CAO, and especially if they were outside of Dublin, they were told, oh, well, maybe Trinity isn't the place for you. You know, it's full of snobs there, or it's full of nerds there. You won't fit in. Why don't you go somewhere nearby? And what they all said is that as soon as they arrived and they met friends from all around Ireland, from all around the world, they joined clubs and societies, were involved playing Gaelic football or debating or in the film society or whatever, that they never regretted their choice, that they fitted in instantly. And that's something I think to consider, because I think there is a perception about Trinity out there. There is a perception that because it's 420 years actually this year, because it's 420 years old, because the buildings are so amazing, because it has such a rich history and tradition, because it's the highest ranked university, it can be a little bit intimidating. It can be a little bit off-putting. So I suppose the first message that I would like to say is, we would love for you to join the Trinity community. We would love for you to apply to Trinity. We would love to see you come in, because this is a university for the whole island of Ireland. It's a university for students from around the world. It's a place where you really will have your own ideas challenged. You'll be learning from people in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. We have small group teaching. So we have big lectures like these, but then we also have small seminars and workshops where you're, again, working in groups. You learn from each other in clubs and societies. That's what we see at the heart of the Trinity education. We've been making these videos with our student ambassadors, and we're going to launch this. It's for a new Trinity Explorer website. It should be up by the middle of January. But I just want to show you a couple of the lectures. This is a student called Neve, and this is just her talking about Trinity and how she found it.
Hi, my name's Neve. I'm in 4th year TSM with History of Art and Spanish, and I'm from Dublin. I went to a disadvantaged school. I had no intention of coming to Trinity whatsoever. It had this image of being really posh and snobby, but my parents persuaded me that this was probably the right place for me to go, and I trusted them, and now I have absolutely no regrets. When you come in during Freshers Week, the first day of Freshers Week, there's stalls everywhere, and everybody is coming and talking to you and trying to get you to join their society. And I joined the kayak club, and as soon as I went in there, like, you just click with every single person that I met. Like, there's nobody in the kayak club that I do not get along with. Like, I love them all to bits. Like, it is just the best club. It is the best thing that I could have possibly joined. To Spanish, I had the opportunity to do Erasmus. So I went to Granada in the south of Spain for a year, and that made me grow up so much. So I was 19 when I moved to a foreign country that I'd only been learning the language for 1 year, with a girl that I hadn't known before we moved in together. We ended up being best friends. Like, I learned how to cook, I learned how to clean, how to speak this foreign language to get by in a foreign country. And without Trinity, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that. Not every university would send you to Granada. Yeah, so like this place is amazing. It's in a valley in the south of Spain, so it can be 30 degrees in the city, and if you look up in the mountains, there's snow. So you can go skiing in the morning and go to the beach in the afternoon. Like, where else in the world can you do that? It's amazing. I love Trinity.
One of our student ambassadors, and it's funny when you actually look at that. I don't know how YouTube have arranged it, why they have how to drunk text. I can assure you that is not part of our promotional thing. Partly because in Trinity we don't believe you need any training to know how to drunk text. I think it's something that happens, quite automatically once one part of it is there, the drunk part. But of course, most of you are underage, so forget about it. That just seems to be some random things. I don't know why. I'm not logged in my own name, so I hope it's not. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know why Lindsay Lohan leaving is also something that they think I'm interested in. That is strange. Anyway, so that's just one of our ambassadors, and if we have time, I'll show you another one. So what we have here in Trinity, when we talk about the Trinity education, what we mean about it is that, well, it's a T-shaped education. If you think of a T, we have on the vertical line, the education gives you the specialist skills in the area that you study. So if you study history, we'll train you to be an historian. Medicine, as a doctor. In genetics, as a geneticist. As a philosopher. As a lawyer. Specialist knowledge. So you'll come out of the 4 years with those specialist skills. But we also have a horizontal line on the T. And that really is about the broader range of skills that are important for any job, or indeed for living in this world. So it's things like communication skills, working in a group. It's about having the confidence to give a presentation. It's about being able to critically think and analyze. So really, we don't try, our philosophy in Trinity isn't about preparing you for your first job. Because by the time you're finished, there could be loads of new types of jobs that are being created. The old types of jobs might be available. You could get your first job, but then in 5 years' time, you might move to something else. What we try and do is give you the specialist skills, yes, for those range of jobs, as a lawyer, as a barrister, as a solicitor, but also the wider range of skills so that you can take your degree and go and do something else with it at any point in your life. You can use that degree as a springboard for anything else. Why? Because you have this wider range of skills. Because companies aren't just looking for someone with a specialist knowledge in engineering. They want someone who can work in a group. They want someone who has leadership skills. They want someone who has good presentation and communication skills. And they're the wider set of skills that we build into the curriculum. And also outside of the curriculum, through clubs and societies where you develop leadership roles, where you work with other people. And that's at the heart of what it is that we do. So that whatever thing you want to go and do, we're helping you, because it's about critically thinking. And it's not somewhere where in the Leaving Cert you have to learn off 10 facts, and then it's about regurgitating those. Memory is much less important in college, because it's actually about knowing things, but being able to analyze them as well. Knowing why things happen, not just what happened. Being able to apply yourself to solving problems. So that, in other words, I'm an historian, we train you with the problem-solving skills for history. But what that means is that if you go on for a career in the media, you become a journalist, or you become a lawyer, or you go to work for Google, you're not really using your history skills, but your history knowledge. They don't really want to know about what were the causes of the First World War, but it's about the skills that you can apply to how do you solve this problem, and you know how to think for yourself. You know how to develop an argument and a position. You know how to read different texts that are contradictory, and assess and analyze them, and work out what is your opinion, what's your point of view, what do you believe. And you're able to present that in a written piece of text, or you're able to present it to a group. You're able to stand up for your own beliefs. Do you know the way sometimes when you'd when you'd be talking about movies, say, with your friends, and they will just turn back and maybe a movie review that they've read. They haven't thought about it themselves. They'll just quote back things. That's what we don't want. What we want is that we're giving you the skills so you're able to read the reviews and say, well, actually, I disagree with them on that. And I'm able to develop my own position based on this, that, and the other. So really, the Trinity education and about choosing the right course, in a way, I think the most important thing is to choose the course that you're passionate about. There's no point thinking about where the next job will be, because I think because employers want to see the quality of your degree, the kinds of skills you've developed. So if you pick science because you think that's where the jobs will be, but you don't really have a passion for it, you'll get an average degree. And the person who has a brilliant degree in classics or history of art, that's who the employers will want, because they're the ones who have thrived during their 4 years in college. If you love English, that's what you should do, rather than saying, oh, well, I'll do law, because again, that's going to be better for me. But if you love law, that's what you should do. It's, I think, about finding yourself in college. It's a great way to lose yourself in the great Trinity experience. And by losing yourself in it, that's how you find yourself. In the classroom, when you're discussing things with students, where you're actually hearing your points of view confronted. You know, where you're hearing impressions, ideas, your own prejudices challenged, and you're talking about it to other people. You're engaging with the lecturers, people who have written books on the topics that you're studying, and then you're teasing it out. That there are no right answers, that it's about how did you come to that position? Can you defend it? So it's about challenging you and about finding that voice. And I think that the only way you'll find that voice for yourself is if you love what you're doing. So I would say, forget about the points. The points isn't a great system. We're trying to work here in Trinity to see if there's a better way, and we hope to do something, we're doing something the year after next on 3 of our courses. That's no good for people doing the Leaving Cert now. But the points, all that reflects is the supply and demand. If there's only 10 places on a course, then the points are, it doesn't mean that we think you need 6 A's to be able to do this course. 1 year, it might be 6 C's, another year. Like, that's the problem, that because Trinity is so prestigious, lots of people want to go to Trinity. And because we have all these small classes, that's why the points are so high. We would love you to be here. But it's about picking a course on the CAO. Number one, that's in my heart what I would really like to do. Because if you're stuck in 4 years doing something that you hate, you will be miserable. You know, the biggest single reason why is because they don't have enough information about the course when they pick it. They end up in a course that's not really for them. And that's why we're working on things like the Explore website, to give more information about the college, about the courses. It's why Open Day is important, to read up about it. But that's the single biggest reason. They're just not happy. They thought they would love business, but they don't. They thought they would love history, but you know what, they don't. So I think that's what you should really do, because employers want to see people who excel, people who have done very well in it. And now obviously, there are some things. If you want to be a doctor, you shouldn't study history, because that's what you love. You'll eventually have to learn how to be a doctor. The same way, if you want to be a nurse, you want to be a physiotherapist, and things like that. If you want to become a history professor or a history teacher, you should probably study history. But it's about, if you're not clear about what you want to do, well, what do you think would be a bit of fun? Because we'll try and give you, our promise to you is, we will try and ensure that whatever course you pick, we will give you the same Trinity education. And that Trinity education is this Trinity shape, the specialist skills in the subject you choose, and a wider range of skills that you learn inside and outside of the classroom. That's our promise to you. Our second promise is that we will make you part of this Trinity community. You'll have a tutor in first year. That's not someone who's there on the academic side. It's a personal kind of mentor and guide. If you're having personal problems, if you're not fitting in, if you want to do something else, they're the people who talk to you and help you. And you have that person for your 4 years. We give you that because you are part of our family now. But, so there are some of our promises to you. But that will only matter to you. That will only make a difference to you. That will only be meaningful to you if you're in something that you love. Because if you're unhappy in your subject, then you won't be happy in your clubs and societies. You won't be happy with your friends. And there's a great opportunity in Trinity where you meet people, not just whatever you're studying. You're studying economics, but you have friends who are studying Greek, you have friends who are studying medicine, you have friends who are studying chemistry, and you learn a lot from that. There's great student activities. There's great ways. You're in the city centre. There's a whole world outside of here as well as a world inside of here. You'll learn loads of things in the classroom. You'll be learning from each other. It's a research-inspired curriculum. So in the first 2 years, we give you kind of a taste or a sense of the subject, a sense of the area, whatever that is, history or law or business or anything. But then in the final years, you're really learning, you're doing your own research. You're investigating problems. And it's about problem solving. It's about critical thinking. It's about independent inquiry. So that when you go to apply for a job then, it's not that I know 10 causes, and I'll use history exam, that's just what I know best, 10 causes of the First World War, and I know 10 causes of the American Civil War, and I know all the names of the American presidents. They don't want to know that. They want to know what kind of person are you? Are you a leader? Can you present? Do you work well in a group? Are you an independent thinker, or will you just read something and then you'll follow that slavishly? Can you think for yourself? Can you make up your own mind? When you read the newspaper, are you immediately led by whatever article you've read last? Or do you go, well, actually, I disagree with that. Or I agree with it in some parts, but I think they're being a bit misleading there. That's the kind of education that a Trinity degree gives you. But it doesn't matter in what part that you're studying. We do that in medicine. We do that in dental science. You know, currently I'm going around visiting all our schools in the college to talk about how they do things. And what I learned is that there's amazing things going on in any sort, like dental science. They will video you in your final year in a role play situation, and then they'll play back the video and go through that. There are areas in science where they'll work on the communication skills. In genetics, they'll bring you away for a weekend in Wicklow. Well, it's a 2-night thing in Wicklow during the week. And then the lecturers talk about how they became geneticists, what inspired them. They talk about their own research, and the students talk about them, the projects they're working on. So it's in an informal setting. In some of the science areas, there are these poster demonstrations. Students will do a poster of the research, invite their family and friends in, and then they all talk about it. And there's glasses of wine, and it's just a relaxing thing. You know, in history, we do class debates, opportunities again, so that there are times when, you know, not everything, especially in the it's not all about, oh, what's my mark for the end of the year. No, it's about, let's have a bit of fun with this. Let's try and learn these kind of wider things and enjoy that. And that's why I think the most important thing is to think about, I'm going to be doing this for 4 years. When I close my eyes, what would I like to be doing? Is it reading lots of literature, Shakespeare and poetry, and writing essays about that, and critically analysing what I like and what I don't like and why? If so, do English. But you might think, you know what, that would make me miserable, 4 years of that. So what is it? Is it languages? Is it business? Because everyone is different. I have friends who have done all kinds of different things, business, engineering, maths, but they all had in their heart, that's really what was motivating them. And in fact, lots of my friends have gone into jobs in no way related to what they studied. I have a friend who's a very successful barrister. He did engineering. And I actually think it makes him maybe a better lawyer, because engineering is all about problem solving. And he has a very good analytical mind. And he's almost impossible to defeat in an argument about where to go on a night, or hopefully, if I ever got in trouble for drunk texting or anything, I would have him as my lawyer. He went on and studied law afterwards, because he has that problem-solving ability, and he learned that from engineering. But I think he could have learned that equally well studying law. I think he could have learned that equally well studying history or business. But it's about, he picked something that was good for him, that was the right choice for him, that was the right fit, and that helped him become a lawyer. So I would have a think about the kind of person you want to be. Trinity will help you become that person. Trinity will help you explore these things. But the first thing that you have to do is make sure you end up in the right course. And that can be tricky. It's why open day is important. So I'd love to just open it up to you. What questions do you have? What would you like to hear from me? What do you want to know about the Trinity education or a particular course? I'm not an expert on all of them, but I'll do my best to talk about them. Yes?
When you're studying if you want to go do the TSM, in third and fourth year of the TSM, do you study 2 research projects, or do you just specialise in one, or can you do both if you like both equally? study?
Yeah, usually in TSM you study, you do one big research project in the final year, but it's a way of concentrating on which one do you want to specialise in. So you could decide that could be my English one or my French one, but you would have the choice. And we try and build as much flexibility into it as we can, so that there's a way of exploring some of these things. Actually, I'll just show you a quick second video. Is the volume okay for these? I'll show you a quick... this is another one. Oh. I'll just show you this one.
My name is Alicia Hoare. I'm from Cork and I'm studying law and political science. Ever since I started in secondary school, I really knew that I wanted to go to Trinity. And for me, I don't think there was any other real option. Trinity, in my opinion, was the best university to study at, and it was the only real place for me. Making the decision was quite difficult because people decide to stay at home and study at university in Cork. So I think when I was applying through the CEO to study at Trinity, there was myself and one other girl applied to study at Trinity. And I know that a lot of our friends were like, oh, why won't you stay in Cork? What's wrong with UCC? Like, you'll miss all your friends that I had to make. But it was one that I have absolutely no regrets about. When I came to Trinity, I found that there's a really good structure in place because I was living in Trinity Halls. So Trinity Halls is basically residence for all first year students. So there's 1,000 first year students living there. So it was really great because I was living in an apartment with 5 other girls. So immediately I had 5 other really close friends who I saw all the time and were studying courses similar to me. And also it was just a really good process of settling in. Because I know at home my family were really worried about how I would make the transition from moving to Cork to Dublin, and it's just such a huge change and living away from home for the first time. So I think that living in halls, it really made me secure. I would recommend anybody considering to go to university in Dublin to choose Trinity. It may seem like a really tough decision because you're moving away from home, you're moving away from your friends, you have to think about things like paying rent, finding accommodation, and just being away from home in itself, you have to accept a lot more responsibilities. But I would definitely say that it's worth it. The quality of teaching in Trinity is amazing. I really love my course. I love the friends that I've made here, and I love my life in Dublin. And I would really, really strongly encourage any student to pick Trinity as their first choice.
Ta-da! Excellent. Okay, and really I suppose just to summarize, do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, how easy can a student switch to
You see, after the first year or during, it depends really on 2 things. One, you must have the points for it, and secondly, it'll depend on whether there's a spare place. We would definitely love to have a more flexible system in place, but unfortunately, that is the system that is there that the universities have, because otherwise you could get in on something and then try and go for something else, and the ones that have the high points, the quotas tend to fill. So there is some flexibility, there are some ways, but it can depend on whether there's a space available. If there's no space available, and even if you have the points, it can be impossible. But there's ways to change before Christmas, after Christmas, and sometimes go into the second year of a different course if it's in some way related to the other one. But it's not, it can depend, it's not guaranteed. And the other thing I would, any other? Well, the one thing I would say then, if you're thinking about applying to Trinity, first of all, find out as much as you can about the course. Look at the website, visit the stands today, but afterwards look at the websites and just read about the kinds of things that's being offered over the 4 years and see, would I enjoy doing that for the 4 years? And if so, but definitely my recommendation is go for the one that in your heart you think you love the most. And aim for that. And put the second one in number 2 and so the way down. And I repeat again, what we will give you in Trinity is a sense of adventure, where you're going to be learning about a subject, but you're also going to be learning about the world, you'll be learning about yourself and other people. It's going to be fun, it's exciting, It's a little bit intimidating because you're leaving home and going to a big university, but that's part of the challenge, that's part of the excitement, because you'll be finding out things about yourself you never knew. You'll be challenging yourself. You'll be challenging yourself and the ideas that you have. You'll be learning. People always say it's the best time of your life, but only if you make the most of it. Partly that's choosing the right course. It's about choosing the right college. But it's also having a bit of a sense of confidence in yourself. We would love to see you in Trinity. We would love to see you being part of this Trinity community. We would love for you to be part of that family where you are exploring yourself, the world inside the classroom and outside of it. It is a great four-year degree, but it is something distinctive from other universities because that fourth year allows you to do very independent research. It allows you to really help find your voice so that the person who graduates is very different from the person who entered 4 years ago. They're more confident about themselves and about the world. They know how to think independently and critically. They have a set of skills that prepares you not just for one job, but for a set of jobs, 21st century skills. That's the kind of thing that we'll give you, and we would love to see you back next year or the year after. And please get in touch with any of us at any time today or in the months ahead. Good luck in the Leaving Cert. It is a daunting prospect. It can be a grueling exam, but trust me, when you come here at the end,